haven't even told him yet.
Oh,
He's been working flat out because they're getting him integrated into the system. He's
okay.
a nurse. He's a nurse, so he's like, I think he's been working of the last 15 days, probably 12 of them or something. So
Well, we might need a nurse. I've heard stories about the Spiral Cafe.
yeah, that's right. They can get rowdy. You've heard that. I've been there.
So have I.
Okay, well that's good then. Probably a different kind.
Years before you were there, though. I was there 6 years ago,
Okay.
and you've been there since.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they sure seemed friendly when I was there.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, you
That
never know. You never know how quickly they can turn, but they were friendly at that time.
is
Yeah,
there a nurse in the
yeah,
house?
that's right. I'll have to mention it to Aiden about that. Yeah, it's a good
Yeah.
idea. Yeah, I haven't done that
Okay.
yet.
Well, I'm going to fade back into the woodwork for a bit, and
I think somebody else has come on here, so we probably should
uh,
disappear.
sure, I'll be here.
Okay.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, yeah, I can go first.
Oh,
Okay. I timed it. It should be 5 minutes and 30 seconds.
We got small groups. So hey, I'm one of those. I'm one of those groups that are like, it doesn't worry about.
Okay, it really will be just like, it will be more than 5, but not 6.
yeah, no worries.
I'm one of those kids. Like,
Oh.
She's not a perfect one.
Did we do a sound check with Donna yet?
I did the cheese. I wish you would.
Yeah, no, she was here. She just went. Yeah, I was just gonna say something. She.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey there, Donna. How are you?
I'm good, good.
Good. How's that sound? Char, is that all right? Do you want us to just speak a little bit there, Donna, again?
Sure. Yeah, here I am in Northeast BC. How is it sounding?
Sounds very good here.
Okay, good.
You're at Rolla Lake?
Well, it's actually Rolla, so no lake. We're like
Oh, okay.
very flat.
Thanks for pronouncing it because I did not know how to pronounce. I was like, I'm
So,
not trying to pronounce it.
Well, it makes sense to want to say Rolla, but it's Rolla.
it's Rolla.
I don't know why.
And what's the closest bigger place to Rolla?
Well, I mean, we're about half an hour from Dawson Creek, but that's also small,
Yeah.
and about an hour from Fort St. John, which is also small. If you wanted to go to, say, Vancouver Island, it would be about a 14-hour drive.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I lived up in the Peace Country in Alberta and used to drive
Ah,
down through Dawson and that down to Victoria when I was going to school and everything. Yeah, so
ah,
I know that country a little bit up there. Yeah.
yeah, of course.
Cool. Probably still snowbound, are you, or was there not much snow this winter?
Well, we had a little more snow than last year, but yeah, there's a bit of snow on the ground. We're hoping for some more in the next couple days. Yeah, we really, really need the moisture. We've been in a serious drought for several years.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got that potential for another bad fire season. It could be another nasty one.
We have fires in the Fort Nelson area, which is about 6 hours north, and those fires are still burning. They burned right through the winter. So they're under the snow,
Yeah.
but they're still burning. So, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that happening in northern Alberta too. And then as soon as the spring winds would come up and the little bit of
Yeah.
snow goes and they're up and they start to run in the spring, everything's so dry. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Horrible, horrible. Yeah. Well, we're really glad you're reading with us tonight, Donna. It's
Thanks.
going to be a real treat to hear your work live and to
Thanks.
know you a little bit. Looks like we got a bit of a small house in Chars tonight so far, but sometimes people trickle in as the evening goes on. So
Yeah.
we always have a healthy crowd on Zoom anyway. So, and you met Char, our
I
great
did.
host.
Yes.
Yeah, she's
She's an
amazing. She
amazing
runs this place
producer.
year
Yeah,
round,
basically.
and it's just like a hub for the arts in Port Alberni. And she brings in, all kinds of musicians and artists all every week there's, 3 or 4 things going on. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, those sorts of people are really seem to be diminishing. So if you've got one in your community that will do that work, then yeah, you got a real treasure.
Yeah, she's precious, absolutely precious. And, she hung in through COVID. And when we were strictly on Zoom for a while there, and yeah, but she clung by her nails.
Yeah, good for her. That's awesome.
So we're gonna have 2 open micers, and then you're gonna be number 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Turn my phone off now before I forget.
That's okay. Welcome.
More live. There's Jennifer. Hey, got your book. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Good.
Yeah, I've just been dipping in and out. I haven't had the chance to give it the real good, full serious read yet. It's been a busy time, but
I'm sure it has. Well, hopefully you'll get there.
yeah. Oh yeah. So have you been getting much chance to promote it?
I'm working on a launch event locally, and I haven't done a big publicity blast, but yeah, I've been selling copies.
Good.
Can always stand to sell some more.
Yeah, of course. Well,
And I'm trying. If there's some place where I can read, especially if it's one I've read before, then yes, I am waving it around.
Yes, good on you. Yeah, maybe post it up on Facebook again there a few times, and we'll share it along. And
Yeah, I should. I think this is probably a good moment to put it in a bunch of Facebook groups. So I'll get on that.
yeah, lots of time.
Okay. Just to warn.
Poetry's a tough sell.
Oh, don't I know it? It's a tough row to hoe. If there's any art form where you're guaranteed not to make any money,
Yes, yeah,
this is it.
yeah. I know, but hey, we don't do it for the money. We do it for the language. Yeah,
There you go.
absolutely.
Okay.
Hello, Kathleen.
Just let them know the people that I usually put in stuff for tonight. Can you put your own stuff in? Because I am not working on my computer. So I don't have access to that stuff right now.
Oh, okay.
So Kathleen and so Jen, if you can put your website and all that stuff in there, I
Okay, sure. When the time comes.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
will
no
get
problem.
my computer, my new one up and running. It's working, but it's just I'm still have to move stuff over and figure things out. So
No
can't do it
problem.
all in one day. Too busy working and other stuff on the go. So
A big thank you, Kathleen, to you and David for taking care of things last month. That was awesome.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm so happy not to be doing it this month.
well, we know you can do it. So
Yeah.
if one can do my job and one can do Derek's job, and we could take a holiday.
Oh, yeah, that would be just so much fun.
That was last month. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh dear, you got the cold today.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can't say I gave it to you then.
Kathleen,
Oh,
how did you get your cold? Were you swimming in the ocean? That's
I
it.
have no idea. I haven't had a
Living
cold
on the
in
ocean.
5
How's that sound?
years.
How's that
I
sound?
haven't had a cold in 5 years, so I have no idea.
Well, just say you were swimming in the ocean. That will do it.
There are 2 nasty bugs going around, and one really goes for the lungs.
Yes.
Hopefully you don't have that one.
I don't know. It's something awful.
David's okay though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's supposed to be here. He's in Vancouver, but he's not zoomed in yet.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Where is he?
Oh, we got 5 minutes. He'll
Off with his head.
up in at
That's
the
it.
last second probably.
A D, he's gonna get a D. That's it. Everybody else gets an A. So how's the weather up in northern BC?
Who's in the north?
It's spring for us. Like it's probably around 3 above today.
Nice.
Yeah, it's not Vancouver Island. I know that, but
No, some days it feels like spring, and there's days when it feels like it's back to winter.
yeah. Well, yesterday actually we were up to 14, so we were sitting out on the deck. It was pretty nice,
Nice.
but yeah, very much fluctuates this time of year.
Yeah, no, we don't.
Yeah.
Here in Port, maybe Victoria, you might be sitting on the deck and out in the sunshine in short sleeve t-shirts, but not here yet.
Right.
Yeah, we hit, I think we hit 17 today, but that's like tomorrow high of 6. So same
Right.
thing, up and down. Yeah.
And I've heard there's supposed to be a big windstorm. I'm like, no winds allowed.
When's that hitting?
I don't know, but I just heard about it today. It's like, ah. And how about the weather in Ontario there, Jen?
I don't think she heard you.
Jen. Earth to Jen.
Yep.
Jen.
Yep. I've got her.
Jen. Earth to Jen.
Yeah.
How's the weather in Ontario?
Oh, not too bad, thanks. It's although winter is hanging on and hanging on and hanging on. We had a bunch of snow flurries today, and the temperature supper time was down around 0. It's once winter started, we had a burst of spring for a few days, but
Well, hopefully by April.
oh yeah.
I feel sorry for the people that have to go out there and try to put their signs up for this election in the snow and cold weather, and yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah, hopefully spring comes for real soon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, because I know on Sunday I was putting up signs for our MT that's running for a wheel, and it was raining. I'm like, okay, it's better than snow. Having to go to put up signs in the snow, so I'm happy it was just rain. So this is a big election this year. So
Absolutely.
fingers crossed that we get the right person in. I know a lot of people don't want that person that's in right now back in, but he's going to get us through this.
Yeah.
I did talk to Peg. So we'll see what happens. But that's good. The weather's getting there. Spring April 1st will come spring. Hopefully. That should be a good day of spring. Right?
What was that, Karl?
That maybe April 1st will be spring and not a joke.
I hope so.
Because we don't want April Fool's jokes on that snow.
I'm ready for real spring.
Aren't we all?
Not just, a burst that gets your hopes up.
No,
only
totally.
to be dashed by.
No, it's some, as I said here, sometimes it's warm and then it rains and then it's like cold. It's like, okay, no. It's springtime now. Where's the spring weather? Maybe we have to go all search for it.
Yeah.
Search for it, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, she's on now. I see.
Add there. Yeah.
Okay,
So
how do
we
I-
got to add Bob to the list.
Yes,
here?
I'd Bob to the list. Just Bob could be person.
After Roberta.
Roberta, yeah. And I think
Peg is going to start us off.
Peg's gonna start us off. I think that's a good name to start us off with, Peg. No, but you're gonna start us off. Kathleen, you're second. Hello, Jen Laundry. Are you here to listen to Donna?
I haven't seen Jen in like years. She's one of my dear friends, but we just haven't connected for a long time. It's great.
Awesome. You can do it here.
Yeah, exactly.
Gallery view. Okay, there. That's what I wanted to gallery view. I can see it. Okay, why is this? How do you get rid of? Can I just do this to get rid of that X chart? I can just go like that. No, there's an X here. Can I just do this so I can actually see it? This in here. It's bothering me. This little. Okay. I just want to mess anything up. You should know it by heart. I should have by now. But
All right, are we good to go?
okay, welcome to Electric Mermaid. Derek Hanebury has been a writer for a long time. Take it away, Derek.
Thank you, Karl. And good evening and welcome everyone to the new monthly version of Electric Mermaid. Great to see everybody online here and our small crowd in-house, but growing. So we'll see who trickles in as the evening progresses. Very excited to listen to our featured reader tonight, Donna Kane, up there in northeastern BC, and Rolla is standing by to share some of her work with us. And we've got lots of open micers signed up, and who knows who else might show up, but we'll see. So before we get started, I would just want to say we're zooming to you from downtown Port Alberni, which is on the unceded territory of the Hipetcheseth and Sishat First Nation. And we're eternally grateful to them for sharing their land with us and their ancestors for sharing their land with us and letting us be here tonight to share in some good writing and camaraderie. And I want to start out also saying a big shout out to Char and thanking her for hosting us again. Thank you, Char. And a quick reminder for those out there in Zoom land, if you're feeling flush, that a little e-transfer to electricmermaidreads@gmail.com is always appreciated to keep Char's doors open. And we drop it in the donation box here at Char's Landing. So I'm not going to dither around much longer. I think we need to get down to listening to some good work tonight. And we're going to start off right in-house here with Peg. She's going to share some of her prose by the looks of it tonight. Welcome, Peg. Thank you for coming back to join us.
Thanks. How's that? Okay. Yeah? Good. Hello, hello. Can everyone hear me?
Is that okay out there, Kathleen? Could you hear her okay? Yep, that's good, Peg.
Okay.
Beautiful. Thank you.
All right. Grateful guests at the cramped kitchen table, a picture of an ash blonde, blue-eyed Jesus.
Google, stop.
What happened there? Jennifer? Oh, no, it's all good. It was sorry, Peg. Start again.
Okay.
I think she didn't realize she was unmuted. Okay.
Okay. Here we go.
Yeah.
Grateful guests at the cramped kitchen table, a picture of an ash blonde, blue-eyed Jesus gazing benevolently upon us. My boyfriend Neil and I respectfully bowed our heads and joined the family in prayer. Dear Lord, we thank you for sending us these strong young helpers tonight. We pray for them and for their car. Amen. A few hours prior, Agnes, my friend's rusty little Toyota Corolla, had quit, dead as a doornail, on the side of the highway just outside Kenora. We had been driving her no faster than 20 kilometers per hour since just past Toronto. It was the spring of 1979. I, reveling in my freshly minted bohemian identity, had agreed to drive Agnes from Kingston to Lethbridge with my groovy musician boyfriend, Neil. We were both 20 years old, madly in love and wildly naive. I had not merely stopped shaving my legs and wearing deodorant. I was truly living the bohemian life. We weren't exactly trekking through Morocco, but this was the next best thing. We had thumbed to the nearest gas station, called our friend Jake's dad, and Mr. Stein had retrieved us and delivered us to this austere, devout kitchen table. The prayer ended. Mrs. Stein offered us a sliver of cold salami on rye bread. Neil could sleep in the twin bed in Jake's room upstairs. I was shown the basement couch. The following morning, we dutifully bowed our heads in prayer before eating our meager bowl of cornflakes. Dear Lord, thank you for the gift of this fine weather for working. We pray that Peg and Neil's car will be repaired. Amen. Neil and I exchanged baffled looks before mustering the courage to ask Mr. Stein if he had called the garage and had our car towed already. Not yet, he replied. We have a busy day today. We learned that Jake had gone to pick up a batch of students from Winnipeg Bible College. He and 5 shiny young people would arrive after supper and stay the night. Despite my free-spirited nonconformist appearance, my inner, properly raised self rose to the surface. Is there anything I can help you with today? I asked Mrs. Stein. There is. Today is baking day. I have set out 3 recipes for you. I'm going to town to have my hair permed. Banana loaf, gumdrop cookies, and a batch of brownies. I set to work. From the window above my station at the kitchen sink, I spied Neil outside, moving boards to clear the way for Mr. Stein's tractor. It was late May. The sun was bright, the sky was clear, and the kitchen was already stifling. I stepped outside. Anything I can do out here? I asked. Time for coffee, Mr. Stein replied, and back inside I went. A freshly permed Mrs. Stein returned after lunch along with a very pregnant young woman named Chrissy. Chrissy was unmarried. She had gone astray, but she had repented. Mrs. Stein was making sure she stayed that way. Chrissy sank into the couch and Mrs. Stein ordered me to bring her a glass of milk. That was when the penny dropped. I, too, was a fallen woman. I might not be pregnant, but I was traveling unchaperoned with my boyfriend. Neil, being male, could not fall from grace, but I could. I had. The baking done, dishes washed, potatoes peeled, and table set. Once again, we bowed our heads. Dear Lord, thank you for sending these helpers in our time of need. We pray for Chrissy and her baby, for the safety of our son Jake and the students traveling. Amen. No prayer for the car tonight. After supper, the men and Chrissy settled in to watch the hockey game. I did the dishes and helped Mrs. Stein prepare beds for the students. Jake and the gang arrived. Stories of Bible college, more prayers, and bed. Early the next morning, Mrs. Stein shook me awake. Come, help make breakfast for the students, pancakes. Upstairs I went. The students piled around the kitchen table, and I turned out plate after plate after plate of hotcakes. That afternoon, a group of church ladies, along with Chrissy, arrived for Bible study. From the kitchen, I could hear the VHS movie they were watching. It was about the rapture, and it was truly alarming. Neil and I really had to get out of there. I found Jake and asked him to please call a tow truck. Jake looked embarrassed. He went inside, made the call, and had our car taken to the local garage. That night, Mrs. Stein prayed, Thank you, Lord, for getting the car towed. Thank you for the mechanics. May the repair be easy and not too pricey. Amen. No mention of the strong young helpers this time. The garage called. It was a simple fix. It would be ready that afternoon. I was packing my bag when Mr. Stein burst in the back door. The suckers are running. Everyone jumped up and raced outside. Mr. Stein scooped the thrashing fish from the shallow stream, clubbed them, and put them into black garbage bags. Such bounty, manna from heaven. We must gut and freeze these now. No time for pick up the car today, he said. Neil and I froze. We looked at Jake. There's time, he muttered. After gutting all the fish, Neil and Jake headed into town and returned just as I was placing the floured fillets in the sizzling margarine. Thank you, Lord, for the bountiful suckers and the good mechanics. Amen. There was another hockey game that night. The Steins suggested we should stay the evening and get a fresh start in the morning. We found the gumption to assist upon leaving that evening. Around 7 p.m., we thanked them, said our goodbyes, and rumbled down the gravel driveway. We sailed right through Kenora and back onto the Trans-Canada Highway before Agnes's engine temperature light flashed and she started sputtering. We slowed to 70, and without so much as a glance in the rearview mirror, much less a prayer, kept right on going.
Beautiful. Yeah, thank you, Peg. My radar went up as soon as he didn't want to call the tow truck right away. Beautiful. All right, great start to the evening, and we're going to move along now. Kathleen is our next reader up out there in Zoom land.
Oh, all right. Oh, I am unmuted. Okay, I am unmuted. All right. I enjoyed that story. That was great. I loved it. All right, I'm reading The Ghost in the Machine, and I got a summary of what it is so far. We have two people unhappily living together. Esther, a widow, and her likewise widowed brother-in-law, Ralph. They are neighbors to Nargis, who has been worried about them since she received a coded message in an MRI machine, which was he's going to kill her. So she asks Heather Blossom, Harry Bloom, and Little Bloom of the Blossom, Bloom, and Bloom Detective Agency to investigate, and they agree to meet Nargis's neighbors. So last month we left off at an evening visit in the living room of Ralph and Esther's shared home. And we were listening to the litany of their complaints about each other. Okay, that was my 1 minute sum up. Okay, 4 minutes. Harry noticed how gloomy the living room suddenly seemed, and being the kind of person who, according to Heather, always needed to do something, no matter how small, to make things better, searched for the overhead light switch, which he then flipped with no result. You've heard of the cobbler's children who run about all day in bare feet, even in the dead of winter or in the snow? Well, I've been asking my handyman brother-in-law to change that light bulb for ages, but he's not gotten to it yet. Nor has he tacked down that carpet over there like I asked him to. He will be the death of me, and you'll all witness me saying so, said Esther, addressing her guests as though they were her congregation. Ralph, who had retrieved the remote and was trying to get back to his sports program, jumped from his chair. Lil, do you want to come with me? Oh. Do you want to come with me? I need to get the ladder from the garage. That is, if it's okay with your parents, Ralph asked, glancing at Heather and Harry. Heather and Harry nodded, and Esther shouted, just don't smoke any of your cigars around that child. I know you keep them in the garage. On the way to the garage, Ralph groused a little about how the neighborhood houses were too close together, the yards too small, the garages too big, when he suddenly stopped moving and talking, grabbed Lil's shoulder and pointed him to the end of the road. It was amazing. Lil couldn't believe their eyes. A large, perfectly round, glowing orange ball just dipping into the end of the road. We hardly see the sun out here at all, do we? Mostly we just get drizzling rain and suffocating cloud cover. It's like the whole world just shrunk out here. It's only on a clear night like this that you actually see such a sunset. But where I grew up, the heavens were always this big. My fingers itch to feel the grass so dry it slides right through them. I miss the smell of sweetness and mowing too, and to feel the sun on my skin and the dry wind blowing past me, telling me that there is so much more out there. I miss all the greens and yellows of the fields and the browns of the dirt and rock. Nothing like this never-ending gray of the sea merging into the fog and drizzle. I tell you, Lil, all that talk about bucket lists is nonsense. Nobody ever talks about just wanting to go home. I mean, my life was fine as long as Harriet was alive. I felt at home wherever she was. but now she's gone forever. And I just want to go to my real home to hear the voices I grew up with, the words they use, the way they hold themselves, to know again what it's like to understand, to be understood without talking, because you've always known each other. I can't describe it, but every day I feel what I'm missing. The internet makes you feel you can be everywhere and anywhere, anytime you want. But in my experience, you're lucky if a few times in your entire lifetime you actually feel the there-ness of things. There's nothing lonelier than being in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people, and the knowing of that is hard. Lil knew only too well the difficulty and the sadness that comes with that feeling of wrongness, and their heart offered up a prayer of thanks to their parents for helping them find the rightness that was unique to them. Lil stared at the glowing round ball at the end of the road, and Lil could feel the man's longing, the man's wanting to go home, and stood silently with him, their shoulder against his arm. Lil thought of how those kids must have felt in that movie, E.T., desperate to help the creature get back to where it had come from. Well, we best get that ladder and change that light bulb, eh? Ralph finally said, and the two headed toward the garage. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Kathleen. That was a lovely moment there of connection, deep connection. Sweet. All right, this story is getting multi-layered, and I love it. Thank you. So I think David is not showing his presence here. We might. Yeah.
I'm going to try and email him because
Yeah.
he may have trouble finding the link.
Yeah.
I did email him, and he wanted to be on between 6 and 6:30 because he's trying to put a kid to bed.
Oh, okay. Did you email him the link, Karl?
I did not email him the link.
Could you do that? Or do I need to do that?
If you want to do that, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Good. We're getting them teed up. In the meantime, it's time for our featured reader, and we're going to have Donna Kane take the main Zoom screen here over, and there she is. Share with us some of her work. So Donna, for those of you who don't know, is a well-published writer, poet, and creative nonfiction writer as well. So you've got about, 4 books of poetry under your belt and a book of creative nonfiction, and shortlisted for the Governor General's Award with her, not this current book, but the previous book of poetry. And we're really excited to hear what you're going to share with us tonight. And then we're going to have a little bit of Q&A afterwards for about 10 minutes or so. So the screen is yours, Donna. Thank you so much for joining us. Take it away.
Great. Thank you so much. And thank you to all the people who are organizing this event. And I heard what a treasure Char is to keep this going, and Mark and Karl and Derek. Yeah, just huge thanks. I'm thinking we're going to hear from Mark later on. Yeah, so I'm going to read tonight from Asterisms, which came out almost a year ago exactly. And for those who might not be familiar, what an asterism is, it's essentially just a pattern of stars that hasn't been officially named as a constellation by the International Astronomical Union. So an example would be the Big Dipper, is part of a bigger constellation, Ursa Major, but is in itself a Big Dipper, an asterism. And I would say that, yeah, and thanks to Harbor, who published this book. I mean, they're an amazing publisher to work with, and I've been really fortunate. This is my 3rd book with them. So, yeah, huge gratitude to them. The book is, I've always written about the natural world because I live in northern BC, which has its share of industry, but it's still, like, for me, my backyard is still the natural world. And so it was always just like the obvious thing that I would write about. And now is with the climate crisis, things are getting like worse and habitat is being lost. And now I still write about it, but I feel a little differently about it. It's more, has more of a, I guess, a political awareness inside me. And I continue to write about it because I feel it's important to stay aware that we are nature, we are part of the natural world, and not only here on Earth, but we're also a part of the entire universe. And sometimes I think that helps us with perspective with our day-to-day trials. So this book was ordered basically by season, and then interrupted here and there by a general poem. So I'm just going to pretty much read it sequentially through the book, not the whole book, but about 50 minutes here. And the first poem I'm going to read is called The Artemis Program, or My Last Moon Poem. And the Artemis Program, I'm sure everyone knows, but is a program that NASA has created to send humans back to the moon and to basically live there. And when I first heard about that, that really appalled me, because I feel like the moon is one of those last places where every being can look up at it, and it's this beautiful blank space that we can project our own wonder and awe at. And knowing there's humans up there, and then who knows how many countries up there, and will they get along, inspired this poem. Artemis Program, or My Last Moon Poem. Hey, big round of cheese, ejectum from some ancient collision, listen up. We're headed your way, and this time, we're bringing pajamas. If you're sick and tired of moon poems, this is your lucky day. Once we've staked our claim on you, you'll be no different to those still here on Earth than looking across a prairie so open we can see all the way to Alberta. We'll look up and mostly wonder who's on you, who's brushing their teeth, setting their clocks, bickering over unwashed cups. You'll cease to be our expansive gaze, imagination's room of its own. I know we've weeded out wonder before, but this one takes the cake, or should I say, pizza pie. We talked a little bit about spring before this started, and I had mentioned that there's still snow up where I am, but we're actually really hoping to get a little more because we're very, very dry up here. So a little more snow would be welcome, even though, like everyone, I'm sure we're also waiting for spring. So this poem is called Spring. Oh, habitable zone, home closer. Let me feel your effervescent leaves unfurl. Let me hear pond to pond each dialect of frog, each bubblegum bellow birth. Oh, carbonaceous flowering, let your lilac blossoms cloak a bird on every limb. Earth has given us its winter to work our grudges through. From under rot and bitter husks, the perennial crocus blooms. With every opened flower, it thinks itself anew. I spend part of my year in Halifax, so every once in a while, as a more urban place, poem pops up, and this is one of them. It's called Cleaning Up Before We Go. It's like wearing clean underwear should the paramedics fail to revive us. The dishcloth folded over top the spout of the kitchen faucet, the puckered cushion propped just so on our favorite chair. Don't we all want to present our best selves when we leave, so everyone will know we care? But look at us, Jesus. The unprecedented winds knocked over a trash can, and there's shit up and down the street. Wet wipes and granola bar wrappers, plastic straws and Timmy cups. The streetlights are throwing moss off course, and no one's sleeping. They're putting toe tags on birds whacking our high rises. We're like toddlers, 4.5 billion years, and you can't leave us alone for 6 million. This poem was inspired by, I sleep outside, and I started doing that about 6 years ago during the pandemic, and it was a lifesaver. So every summer I put a bed out on my deck and I sleep outside when it's not raining. And yeah, it's amazing. And so this poem, it was sort of inspired by laying outside one night in bed. It was also selected for Poetry in Transit, which is a program, wonderful program that picks some poems every year, and they are displayed on the sky trains and buses in BC. I live in northern BC, so I don't have access to transit, but so I've never seen this poem on a bus or a SkyTrain. But if anyone ever does, I'd love to hear about it. On silence. If one thing must relate to another for meaning to cohere, you don't want to be alone in the world. Except I do, especially on summer nights when I lie on my back, look up at the sky, and listen to the dark until I feel myself as silence. The silence between a caragana pod snapping and a dried begonia blossom falling to the deck. Between the swirls of sparrow song and each star as it appears. It is then I feel I can know the world. The way music can be disclosed only by the silence between each note and the silence before and after. The next two poems are like, well, a subject that I think is on the top of everyone's minds these days. I wrote these poems before. Humans have always had huge struggles getting along, and so things weren't good then, but they seem for us here worse than ever. So yeah, the next two poems are about that. Peace. The magpie and the cat sit together on the deck, a few inches apart, each the other's threshold. Were the magpie any smaller, the cat would kill the bird. Were the magpie any bigger, the bird would kill the cat. I wish this wasn't how peace worked, but there they are, side by side, pretending they don't see each other. I'll take it, bless it even. Things I need to remember if my city is invaded. That a single teaspoon of soil holds 1 billion bacteria, yards of fungal filaments, thousands of protozoa, scores of nematodes. That I want there to be room for everyone. That astronomers look for light's imperceptible wobble to tell us we're not alone. That there are more microbial species on Earth than stars in our galaxy. That I can't give up hope we'll learn to get along. Some quiver of understanding that there's nothing about us that isn't also something else. Centipede dust, earthworm dust. That we're a fun, fair house of mirrors reflecting each other, and astronomers should be careful what they wish for. So the next few poems are short, and they just go sort of sequentially from June to September. When June turns to July. June is a spool racer winding up its rubber band of stored energy, and July is letting it unfurl. Fruit kicking off its blooms, lime darkening to green, eggshells crumbling in the grass, frogs that ratcheted past solstice, now mated and silent. Caught in the backward spin, we feel ourselves in free fall, unwhirling through sepaled, buried, shrinking light. August is a dance hall at 3 a.m. Pollen stuck to its feet like grains of floor wax. The bees dancing slows, but doesn't stop. It waits for last call, for frost's biting light to snap back on. Among the flowers' popped balloons, it knows it's time, but it can't go home. Spiked with earth's tilt, the bee must play it out, the dance, the drink, the drained cup. September, thinking of the worker wasp I crashed into this summer. Intent on crumpling flecks of weathered deck inside your mouth, you launched from your planet of ribboned pulp, just as I, interstellar object on a mission to a glass of wine, crossed your flight path. Wallop to you, sting to me. Your venom exciting my pain receptors, my cheek swelling like your nest, which kept growing from the inside out. I thought of doing you in, but season's end comes soon enough. Amphoras of spit emptying out their hearts. Is that you, dragging your starving husk across the floor? Here, drink this sugared water. Each of us takes that final breath, exhales, we hope, sated. And this next poem is about it's called The Incredible Hulk. And if there's people here, might be too young to remember the television series that went from about 1977 to 1982. It was from a Marvel Comics. And I think they have made, movies since. But a scientist, Bruce Banner, is exposed to gamma rays. And as a result, every time he gets angry or upset, he turns into this huge green monster. The Incredible Hulk. Like that marvel of science, Bruce Banner, who watches his body expand, buttons popping from his shirt, disclosing the Hulk. So I watch my body fall apart, disclosing time. Both Bruce and I unwitting and without a cure. But does the Hulk, once disclosed, also disclose Bruce Banner? Does time, once disclosed, also disclose me? They say music discloses the fabric of the universe, but is not the universe. So there's that, I say to my friend. The two of us are discussing old television shows and time's passage, drinking cider from apples that fell to the ground, disclosing gravity. Though it's not so much the apples that fell, my friend says, as it was a tree that dropped them. All those delicate white blossoms transforming into fruit, swelling until the green apples became too heavy to hold. We agree. Something else is afoot, but neither of us can grasp it. And the last poem, when the ARC Poetry's Award of Awesomeness, and I don't know if it's still going or not, but it was this fun contest. Every month they would assign a poet who would give a theme, and then people could write in and in response to the theme. And the one I won was in February, so it had to be about love. Love poem for every animal on Earth. Gravity is a tailor stitching planets around stars, pearl buttons cinched tight in space, like hearts inside the rib cage of the elephant or the shrew. The elephant or the shrew, the me or the you. The number of heartbeats the same for us all. The same for us all, though some take them fast, some take them slow. What a beautiful rhythm. Can you feel us? Held together in this world. Together in this world. Thank you.
Beautiful, Donna. Thank you. There was thunderous applause here at Char's for that, and I think from the Zoom audience in their homes too. Wonderful poetry. Really, really enjoyed those, and could connect us so many of your the places you were coming from. I think you really. Oh, David made it. Hello, David. You really hit so many. I don't know, current themes that are just uniting us all, and the one that really stood out for me was about, I mean, we're just so done with war, and we can't. Yeah, and like you, I just can't believe that we're still doing this after this long. I mean, the people have had enough, right? But it still carries on. It's mind-boggling. But anyway, you're a wonderful poet,
Thank you.
and expressed so many beautiful things that brought back the feeling of the North to me, and how things grow exponentially up there with all that light in the summer. And yeah, it just really made me nostalgic for the North again.
Oh, you have to come visit.
Yeah, I'll have to. Anyway, I'm going to shut up and just throw it out there. If anybody wants to ask anything, Donna, or mention anything that stood out for you with her poetry, it was really really beautiful. And maybe I'll ask a question to get us started here. If you want to talk a little bit about, I know some of your poetry seems to really like the form and structure, and some of it likes the free verse. And how do you find? Is it a different process for you going to the structured work versus the free verse? And how do you decide which you're going to go to?
Well, that's really an interesting observation, because I would say my first two books for sure had no real form at all. That it was free verse, and then I think with orrery I started to play a little bit, and then I guess what I realized is as I got older, whereas before I thought form was going to restrict me, as I got older, I realized that form helped me like move in different directions in my thoughts than prior. So I don't know if it's a matter of aging or development or what, but now I find I use form sometimes when I have an idea but don't exactly know how to go forward. So the limitations of the form actually make you in some ways more liberated, because you go in a place that you never thought you were going to go, because you got to come up with a rhyme or a syllable or whatever, and by doing that you start thinking of other options.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's like the story of the bound man, right? Who was found out in the forest all tied up and could do all these amazing things. And everybody was like, wow, look at that. And then as soon as they cut his ropes because someone wanted to free him, he was just an ordinary guy.
I didn't know that story.
Yeah, it's a story from a while back, but
Well,
but yeah, the interesting observation that it takes you to new places and new directions. It totally makes sense. And we had John Barton on a few months back from Victoria, and he also used to write all free verse and then moved into form, and similar observations, I think, in terms of how he felt it really boosted his work and pushed him into new directions. So
yeah, he's really a master of form.
he is for sure. Yeah. Robin Skelton would have been proud if he was still.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions out there?
Donna, hi. Hi,
Hi.
Donna. Hey.
Yeah.
Hi. Donna, will you always use the natural world as the basis of your work, or do you think you will ever be finished with it?
No, no, I don't think so, because I mean, like I mentioned before, like the more as the years go by, I become like even more aware of how essential it is and how it's like disappearing every day. So possibly if we weren't in a climate crisis, I might go into a different direction, but I am now wholeheartedly invested in, observing the natural world. And every day you go out there, and if you're really paying attention, you're never going to exhaust it. There's always something amazing and new that you hadn't noticed before.
Thank you.
Thanks for that question.
And I think, Catherine, you're an old friend of Donna's, right? You guys go way back?
We've known each other a few years. Hey, Donna. 40,
40 years, I would think. Yeah,
Wow.
45. Yeah. Let's just start
maybe.
there.
Yeah.
Well,
It's a while.
yeah, it's awesome. You guys can connect here, right, in the Electric Mermaid, and maybe get together and chat afterwards. That'll be fabulous.
Excellent. Thank you.
Good. Any other questions out there in Zoom land, or anybody here live at Char's? Anything? No. All right. Okay. Well, I think we're going to maybe leave it there for now, Donna. But thank you again so much. That was great. Let's hear it for Donna.
Well, thank you everybody for listening.
So great.
Really.
And
Please.
maybe if you want to throw your book titles in the chat there and where to get them, that would.
I did put in my website, so I think everything is on
Oh.
there. Thank goodness, because I lost my website for about a month, but it just came back. Yeah.
DonnaKane.com. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Donna. All right, we're going to stay in Zoom land here, and Jennifer Wenn is next up. And wherever Jennifer went.
I'm right here.
Oh, there she is.
Karl, number 9, so I wasn't expecting to go yet, but that's
my bad. I misread that. It's Mark Wonneck. I'm so sorry.
okay.
Relax, Jen.
All right.
Well,
Okay. Well,
Okay, well then, that's me then, right?
that's you, Mark.
Yeah. Well, I just have to say, I am so enjoying this evening. And I was thinking of doing a completely different song, and then I thought, oh, I'll switch. And then when Donna did all her stuff, which I really, really, really liked. But it made me think of this song, so I'll try this. I'm not sure how picking works on the Zoom here, but we'll try. I was a thunderstorm a week ago. There'll be an ocean soon enough. The edge of me is not an edge at all, no place to start or stop. There's atoms in me that dinosaurs knew. Rivers and mountains and possibly you. Get out your broom, clear the room, and hope once will be enough. You got a chance to really dance in this world of stardust. When you think about it, we're all about the same. Me and the chimpanzee, you and what's his name? The insane politician, the grump down the hall. The tree frog, the peat bog, we're cousins after all. Get out your broom, clear the room, and hope once will be enough. You got a chance to really dance in this world of stardust. You might divide the world, them and us. Hate who you hate, trust who you trust. You might forget that who we are comes down to circumstance and luck. In this world of stardust. Well, sometimes I forget when I yell at the news, when I get mad at all the idiots with their stupid points of view, when I kick at the stair that I tripped on getting here. Then I'll look real close and I realize I'm really looking in a mirror. Get out your broom, clear the room, and hope once will be enough. You got a chance to really dance in this world of stardust. Get out your broom, clear the room, and hope once will be enough. You and me and the chimpanzee, we're stardust. I was a thunderstorm a week ago, I'll be an ocean soon enough. There we go. Boy, that sure made me think of that song anyway.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, perfect, man. And that's wonderful. I love the way the themes emerge over the evening, and wait till you hear what I read at the end, because it connects with all of that. Just
Beauty.
if I had asked you, we couldn't have set this up. So
Perfect.
thank you so much, man. That was great.
Good.
Oh, we love your music, and your lyrics are top notch.
Thank you very much.
All right, we're going to stay out in Zoom land now, and Peter Paul Van Camp is going to join us from Denman Island. Good evening, Peter. How are you?
How do you do, Derek? It's nice to see you, and nice to hear everybody. And Mark, another swell one there. Great. Well, I'm afraid that what I'm going to read has nothing to do with anything we've heard so far. Sorry. Themes come and themes go. Anyway, this first piece I'm going to read comes out of an old joke I heard once. An old codger is talking to a little kid. He says, "Young man, when I came to this country, I didn't have a nickel in my pocket. Today, I have a nickel in my pocket." So that's the joke. And I was musing on this as I was out bird watching one day, and I got to thinking about Robert Frost's famous poem, "The Road Not Taken," and somehow the two merged into this. I call this "Today I Have a Nickel in My Pocket." Two paths diverged in a wood one day, and I, indecisive as to which provided the greater peril or the lesser intrigue, paused the while, then turned abruptly about, fairly certain there was a reasonable chance I'd left the toilet seat up at home, and in retracing my steps found I had dropped my billfold on the way. And this, I'll tell you, has made something of a difference, as it contained my lucky nickel and the latest draft of a poem, in many ways this one's superior, despite which, unlike this one, all these years on, it still remains unfinished. Well, that's as may be, but today I have a nickel in my pocket. All right, that's that. Been meaning to read that for a long time. Here's a Canadian poem, a very Canadian poem. We have a good friend of ours here on Denman Island who is from Montreal. She's just moved back to be closer to her family in that area, and we're already missing her. And I haven't been in Montreal for, well, about 6 years now, and I'm due for a visit. Last time I was here, I wrote this. It took place, I don't know if you know the city well, but in the Mile End district of the city, from walking from up Waverly Street from Fairmount to Saint Viateur Avenue, a distance of only 2 blocks. This one's called Someone's Idea of Redemption. Most anywhere you look in your enchanting former home away from home, where you are visiting for pleasure now and catching up with yesteryears when you had come of age there, you cast your grateful eye around, and everywhere you look seems like there's someone's idea of redemption on display. You pine to be a part of it, and now you've gone and coined the phrase, someone's idea of redemption. Examples? Right where you are walking here, this row house on the left, half a dozen doorways, each another pastel hue, and not one overdoes it. High above you, chimney swifts, chit-chittering the way they do and always did. On this house here, a statuette of the Virgin, safe from nasty weather, under glass. Better still, this careless girl scooting past on roller skates singing Frère Jacques, like she'd made it up just now. Here, the lilac all abloom, and mint, its fragrance not arrested by the stingy pavement, the arrête sign that every single bicycle ignores, the fellow with the hungry look who importunes the passers-by. You catch each other's eye. The splash of rain that drives the corner cafe crowd indoors, and now the sun breaks in again, so they emerge to swan once more. This bag of bagels warms your hands, that fresh out of the oven that you had to get a half a dozen. And you'll see plenty more examples, more ideas of redemption. If you walk another block, you're bound to. Pick any direction. But you gather what I'm getting at. Besides, I'd kind of like to hand a few of these tooth garnis, these bagels, to this fellow with his head out. They're better when they're warm, of course. And don't you know, I gave a few of the bagels to the man, and he thanked me, and he got on his wobbly bicycle and rode right through the stop sign. That's my story.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Derek.
Yeah, entertaining as ever, my man. Always so pleasant to see you showing up with us month after month and sharing your verse. It's beautiful. That was great. All right. David Kipling has joined us on Zoom from Vancouver. David is in the house somewhere and he is going to share.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I hear you. I just don't see you.
What is it? 95% of success is being there on time. I got an emergency message from Kathy saying, "Where are you?" And I'm in Vancouver. I didn't have my USBs or anything, but my daughter, who is brilliant, has a piece of my writing here, which I have not read before. There we are. It's I don't crossing borders. I'm terrible. I go to any border, any barrier, customs, and I just say I'm guilty. I don't care whatever it is. I'm guilty. They see me from yards away and they say he's guilty. So this is a reflection on a real life experience. I inched the car towards the border crossing. The midday traffic moved like treacle, it being a Saturday. I suddenly realized I was yawning a lot, nerves, which of course is a sign they look for. And I was already within camera range, although I couldn't see them. Instead, I stretched and fidgeted. Alas, something else they look for. My turn. I hurried forward and had to stop abruptly, stalling the engine. And the guard perked up. Drivers who stall their vehicles, that cheers them up. Thus, it doesn't matter whether the driver's a smuggler or a nobody who's nervous at the border. It gives the guards something to do, brightens their day, a change from having to murmur, hospitable, have a good day, like in the manual. Your car, sir? It's a drag admitting that you don't own a car. So I was going to just nod and hurry on through as I've done before. But the guy's eyebrows were up. He had something in reserve, waiting. No, it's a friend's. What name is the friend, sir? Annie Chow, Ann Chow. Annie Chow, so relative, wife, co-worker? No, just partner. And where does your partner Annie Chow live? Same as me, Sunshine Coast. Sir, I'm not asking for the geographical area. Sorry, Gibsons. Gibsons, BC? Yes, Gibsons, BC. He's glancing at a screen just below his booth's window and nods approval. Now he plays with my Canadian passport. David Rudyard Kipling, that's a famous name. Are you related? I think congratulations on being the 10 billionth person to ask that. No, it's just a sort of family joke. So this name in your passport is a joke? No, a family joke, my middle name. But it was a sort of a joke my grandfather pulled when he named my father. No, I mean my great-grandfather did. You're not sure who named who? Jesus, this was going pear-shaped. With me, it always goes wrong at borders. Then he asked my date of birth. April the 2nd, I tried to lighten things. Nearly a fool, he just missed it. Excuse me, sir, who's a fool and who's missing what? No, I mean, I'm nearly a fool. 1st of April is Fool's Day, right? My grandfather was born on April the 1st, so he was an April fool and I just missed it. That the grandfather who invented that phony name for you? No, it was my great-grandfather. Oh, I trailed off. Is that a British accent you're using with a Canadian passport? I am Canadian, but I was born in England, and I'm not using the accent. It just stayed with me. He pressed the passport against something below my line of sight. And what's your profession, sir? None, I'm retired. His fingers drummed on the sill. What was your profession, sir? I was a teacher. Is that school teacher or professor? College instructor, actually. I was an instructor at BCIT. He granted me a reluctant nod, as though he was 0 in 7 attempts with hardly anything in hand. And where are you going this afternoon? Skagit Raceway, down past Bellingham. His demeanour lit up, and he relaxed, and his voice grew friendly. Skagit Raceway, hey, that's where they run the horses, eh? No, it's a quarter-mile oval track for race cars. His smile vanished. That's right, off you go. He didn't even wish me good day.
Would never have known you hadn't read that before, David. And I share your border terrors. I have the same issue. I don't know what it is, but it's just, yeah, as I'm the guy they always pull aside for the extra checks, and and they always get me with the trick questions, you know. Yeah.
Kathy usually tells me just shut up. Don't say a word. Shut up, because you will say too much.
Yeah, let me look after it. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in, even though you're at your daughter's, and thank your daughter for us. We're really grateful she pulled that up for you. Yeah. There, thank you. Yeah. All right. Okay, where are we next? Oh, we're coming back into in-house here at Char's Landing. So Robbie Van's going to share some work with us. I'm guessing she brought some poetry this evening, but we will see. It might be some vampire prose. Who knows? No, not tonight, she says.
Perfect. I've been writing for...
Everybody hear Robbie out in Zoom land there?
Can you hear me out there?
Yep, we have
Okay.
nods and thumbs up. We're good to go.
I've been writing for about 16 to 18 years. I compose music and I write poetry. So today I'm going to give you something that I wrote just about when I was living in Parksville. Calling all angels to the shadow of war. Light up the darkness, our backs against the wall. Time for confession, let's measure out the toll. It's the comic scales of justice that are keepers of the toll. Electric buzz and ozone spark, scatterhead podboys, skater parks, the splish and splatter, colors in a can. All the pretty boys go running from the man. A bottle does a ting, a huff from the bag, a puff in the alleyway suits the old hag. The corner boys are hustling, working out a deal. Business is a rip-off, it always cops a feel. Up pop the billy boys, bang to the club, push around the manager, which one the thug? The pot-bellied mayor, the old boys gang? Innocent's a victim, but someone must hang. Politicians, crack whores, party in the night. So rich, no jail, naked in the light. The pull from the puppeteer, we do the poor man's jig. The learned counsel does a line. The judge enjoys a swig. Sizzle in a copper pan, bacon in a pen. Misery for money meat supports a future's men. Slaughtered, butchered, bred and bound, their death is now on sale. The legacy of Barbary truly has no scale. The pitter, the patter, the little drops of rain, the fluffing of the pillow, the sweet release of pain, the urgent calls, the strident bells, the squeak of nurses' heel. It's the end of time and the end of the line, and the devil's in the deals. Angels, not innocence, protects a wayward child. Debts and sins and faults not theirs, angered, hurt and wild. The burdens of a battered youth, indentured by its birth, slave to its meager existence. Ah, the needle knows its worth. Dungeons and dragons, a hell house of man. Franker me oilians, fill me with spam. Place me in prison, slop from a pail. Drink from the cesspool, for the world is on sale. Calling all angels to the shadow of war. Light out the darkness, our backs against the wall. Time for confession, let's measure out the toll. It's the karmic scales of justice that are keepers of the soul, that are keepers of the soul, that are keepers of the soul. Thank you. When I first came to Vancouver Island, I came from Vancouver. I'd been here in the 80s in Courtney for a while, but when I retired and I wanted to become a transgender woman, I came to Vancouver Island, and I was so surprised and floored by the amount of love that I found everywhere and the support from the people around here. So it really made my transition very comfortable and easy for me. So after a little while, I wrote a song that I thought, this epitomizes Vancouver Island. It's just a miracle that Vancouver Island is as good as it is. We're blessed here. Thank you, Canada. Thank you, Vancouver Island. And thank you all the people that live here. You're brilliant, and you give rainbow people a chance to survive out here, which isn't the same in the United States. Found a golden temple hideaway in a trail of dreams. Love it when things just roll my way in a living fantasy. Feel the power within dreams, well of wonder within me. Land of crystal, heart of fire, life of ruin, sparks desire. Found a golden temple hideaway on a trail of dreams. Love when everything just slides my way in a living fantasy. No fear in the darkness, my anger is gone. The spell that I'm under while writing this song. You've placed me in Eden, I am reborn. Bathed by the one light, no longer forlorn. Found a golden temple hideaway on a trail of dreams. Loving when it just slides my way in a living fantasy. That's it.
Well, thank you, Robbie, and thank you for choosing Vancouver Island to live in. We're delighted by your gifts, man, woman. All right. Okay, we're going back out into Zoom land now, and Joe Lunchbucket is standing by, going to share some work with us. We're glad to see you back, Bob. And I know you've had your challenges along the way, but you're hanging in there, and we're always grateful to have you come share some of your poetry with us. Where are you? Looking for you. Oh, he's dark. There he is. Hello there, Bob. You're muted there, Bob. Just click your unmute, that red mic there with the line through it. Click on that.
Okay, how's that?
There we go. That's good now. We can hear you. Yes. Thank you, Joyce, for your help.
Okay.
All you had to do was show up. How are you doing, Bob?
Well, I'll explain. God exists in mind of man and the chosen through Canaanites for promised land. Have we learned from history's holocausts? Is genocide often planned? Earth's dynasties rose and fell. Barbarians saw culture over time. Titles and respectability were won through wars or crime. Can we ensure that population doesn't exceed food supply
and that contraceptives overpopulated nations religiously apply. Will evidence outweigh faith and be accepted by everyone, and believers decline from many to one or none? We're not all gifted genetically nor win the luck of life draw. Can we be our brother's keeper and aid all that drew the short straw? Our land of plenty has failed the homeless and hungry. Could greedy humanity in desperation launch WW3? U.S. democracy went from slavery to black presidency and now lunacy. But has it proven preferable to past dictatorships and theocracy? Will Trump be UN's man of the enlightened 21st century and stop or start wars? Is he a global bully wannabe? Does US promote war because it profits their war industry? And rebuilding buildings spurs capitalist economy? Will we all learn to speak American and comply willingly? Can man, the top's food chain, save or desolate all that we see? Or will UN be a survival insurance policy and avert asteroids and ET? How did past US presidents survive so long, doing it all wrong? I'm disabled and caned, but can Trump's reasoning be explained? With Trump, recent military and state changes, can peace be attained? Trump's inaugural balls made news. It was public display. Will U.S. media monopoly and the 1% rule and world majority sway? Okay, that's it. I ran out of breath.
Thank you, Bob. All right. We can always count on you for that insertion of political angst. And I should dedicate what I'm going to read later to you, I think, because you'll relate. So don't stick around. Keep listening.
I'm here.
Good to see you're still with us.
Unmute this?
Thanks for your tech help there, Joyce.
How do we mute it now?
Not muted yet. No. You just. Oh, it's okay. Char will mute you. Not to worry. Not to worry. You can relax. Bye, Bob. There we go. Okay. All right. We're going to stay out there in Zoomland, and Jennifer is there with her new book, waiting to share some more poems with us. Yes, there it is. Emergence has emerged. And what I've read so far has been wonderful. I've just
Thank you, Derek.
lighted in it.
Two pieces, neither of which I've read anywhere. The first is from Emergence. Oh, I should paste my website in here while I think about it. Happy to send one on your way. This first one from the book is called Strangler Vine. Suddenly one spring it was there, or rather suddenly noticed, a snaking strangler vine wrapped in tight embrace round an adolescent deciduous tree, seeking only its own space between the skyscraping pine and the cedar hedge's forest wall. Life clearly sucked from tree to vine, the former almost empty, choked off before it had a chance. Saving my deciduous meant death for invader, but maybe the strangler was simply seizing title to light and life through brutal efficiency, conquering in an arboreal competition. And was it too late anyway? I ripped out the vine. An act entwining hope and vengeance and rescue. Alas, not in time, I was told. Best give up and get the chainsaw. I waited. Next spring, buds cautiously poked out, full leaves slowly but duly following, with no murderous tendril to be seen, Not yet, anyway. I will be ready. Thank you. This next one is much newer. It's pretty recent. You'll hear recent references, I'm sure. This is called Ragged Little Pennant. Smug flourish of spiky scrawl there, grating dismissive syllables here, starting guns, or news flashes, for it's begun. In fact, I'd already been bore-sighted by an online brown shirt pining to morph my skin into a lampshade, fruit of a toxic brew of devil knows what all, hurtled into sewage reeking of hatred that engulfs so much of my trans family. Meanwhile, tucked beside me, my own cauldron, like many, brimming with fear, defiance, anxiety, pride, sadness, and more, all because my spirit was trapped in contrary casing. Still working on why, but that is my quest, not someone else's panic or problem, not a bullseye, not a request for mockery, certainly not a threat, except to bigotry and ignorance. Yet they behold not divine spirits charged with extraordinary challenge. Rather, they gaze through an infernal filter and find, they say, flotsam to be flung aside. Once more, why? Multifold, multifarious possibilities terrify and despond and outrage. But none cancels us out. Nothing can. So onward then, cauldron in tow, one place to stand tall, another to cringe or weep. But always on, always still here. Do as they might, we are present, and past, and future. We are inevitable. My ragged little pennant flutters in the breeze, crests this hill, and the next. Our journeys would crush them. Our strength they can't comprehend. Our beauty would blind if they truly looked, yet they don't. They won't. But my ragged little pennant remains waving amidst the whirlwind. Thank you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And may your strength outlast their infernal lenses that they look through.
Fingers crossed.
Yes, absolutely. It will. It will. Okay. Well, that's bringing us almost to the end here. I don't think we have any other open micers except for me lined up. So I'm going to, unfortunately, I don't have mine printed out, so I'm going to just have to stay seated, and I'm just going to read it from here. If I can just bring it up on my laptop. Did I disappear? Thank you, Robbie. And while we're getting teed up here, just a reminder that the Robbie Van show will be here next Wednesday at Char's Landing. Instead of Friday, you've moved to Wednesday night. That's good. Okay, 7:30 sharp. Awesome. Wonderful. Wonderful. And while I'm pitching things, a reminder for next month that Judy LeBlanc, my old colleague from North Island College up in Courtney, Fanny Bay actually is going to be our featured reader. So that's going to be special. She's a wonderful writer. Okay, I'm just going to share this piece I've written in the last little while called Open Letter to Our Star Neighbors. I had the privilege of seeing a UFO once, about 10 years ago, probably in broad daylight. I saw the typical saucer-shaped thing, but it had kind of panels around it. I don't know if they were windows or cells or what they were. And I just saw it glimpsed through the trees for about 10 seconds, and then it disappeared. It was flying very low, but very fast. But I had a really good look at it. And so since then, I've been kind of interested in ETs and the whole dialogue around disclosure. So I think we are teetering on the brink of disclosure here and real full contact. So considering we teeter on the brink of open contact at last, let me share a few things before you come out from behind the galaxies and greet us in our dense and heavy world. First, you have to know we are not all kind. So expect a stormy welcome of fighter planes and missiles as our first extended hand. Please don't take this as representative of who we are as a species. You see, some small percentage of us are programmed to start with mistrust, and it's only once they have the guests disarmed and bound that they can stop to examine the housewarming gifts. If you come in peace, which I assume you will, or you would have obliterated us eons ago, be prepared to be labeled demonic, evil, aggressive, or at the very least, ugly and foul-smelling. Personally, as soon as I saw the crop circles you carved in wheat fields around the world, I knew that any species with that kind of appreciation for symbolism and balance must have outgrown war eons ago. As I was saying, we're not all kind. And some will want to use your foreign nature to inspire great fear if that will boost their personal wealth or fortify their hold on power. But rest assured, the lion's majority of us here on the blue planet are friendly folk who only ever wanted a place to call home and raise our children in peace. If others need help, we usually take steps to limit their suffering and live according to our empathetic hearts. We prefer a good laugh over an angry rant any day, which is why I'm doing my best here not to dwell on the relatively small percentage of assholes who have been jerking the rest of us around for as long as we can remember. Perhaps you can suggest a solution for the situation that doesn't involve nuking the planet and starting over. Also, if you could give us some tips for generating energy that doesn't rely on injecting chemicals into the Earth's substrata or flooding vast tracts of pristine forest land or creating toxic waste that we can't safely store, we would be forever grateful. Finally, and these are just a few suggestions for when you step out from behind the curtain, I suggest you avoid wearing olive green, tan, or horizon blue, as those have been the go-to colors in the military for years now, so the connotations wouldn't be in your favor. Perhaps if your ambassadors show up in a range of vibrant colors, people will assume you like to dance, which in our world is always a good way to bring strangers together and build trust. You may even want to say something disarming when you arrive, such as, "Hey there, humans, it's time we got together and danced the boogie-woogie." This could go over well if delivered with a little hip shake, but best to avoid anything that looks like a full-on pelvic thrust, lest you trigger the fundamentalists. Hats should be avoided if you're seeking broad appeal to our species, as hat preferences are far too individual. A ball cap, for example, might ensure you a warm welcome at the White House, but anywhere else in the world may invite heckling and disdain. The exception to the no-hat rule applies only in Canada, where if you arrived sporting a wool toque, you'd most likely be offered a Moosehead lager and a bong hit of Purple Kush. Bringing food is also a good way to break the ice. I would suggest pepperoni pizza or a tuna casserole, depending on where you land, but then again, samosas are virtually appreciated worldwide these days, except in Texas, of course, where it's all about the beef. Candy is a definite no-no, especially if you're standing too close to your spaceship, as every human sees candy and strangers as a combo for abduction, which most humans have been programmed to associate you with. Some say it was the CIA responsible for those abductions in the past, but regardless, the resulting bad press has left a nasty flavor in our collective taste buds, so needless to say, you're going to be fighting an uphill battle when you come. Considering all this, I don't blame you for delaying your public debut on Earth. In fact, I would totally understand if you chose to put it off a little longer yet to give us a chance to ferret out the bad actors keeping us in their invisible prison. Unfortunately, those bad actors appear bent on buckling down rather than buckling under, so you may be waiting a few centuries yet. Hopefully, by the time you get here, we won't be back on the shores lighting distress fires with flint rocks and dried moss. In the meantime, we remain your patient comrades in future intergalactic cooperation, dreaming of the day we behold the sky full of your ships and welcome you to planet Earth. On a personal note, when you do come, if you had room in your suitcase for a small gemstone from your planet to add to my collection, I would be tickled pink. Something, say, 40 or 50 carat, perfectly clear in a princess cut would make an ideal gift for my wife. You could even land in my backyard if you wanted. There's lots of room on the septic field, and I keep the grass clipped short for your convenience. Looking forward to shaking your hand, if you have one. With love from your favorite earthling, Derek. Thank you. There we go. Okay. All right. And that's a wrap for tonight. Well, what a wonderful evening, folks. I think this has maybe been one of my favorite Electric Mermaids so far. It was really, really super. Right from Donna, our feature, down to every open micer. I think you all outdid yourselves tonight. It was really, really good. I'm going to enjoy watching the rerun when Char posts it up on YouTube later. So yeah, that's it for tonight. Let's have a big warm round of applause for Donna, our feature reader. Thank you so much, Donna. That was a real treat. And thank you to Char, of course, for hosting us as always, the hostess with the mostest.
Yes, yes.
And to Karl for keeping me on track. I only slipped once. Thank you, Karl.
Good, Karl.
Sheila in the back there with the food and drinks.
Right there.
Thank you. Oh, there she is. And of course, to all of our open micers who shared their hearts and souls with us tonight, thank you for doing that. Wonderful.
And thank you to Derek for being back. Thank you.
Oh, yes, yes, yay.
Good to be in the land of health again. And I do have to say a formal thank you to David and Kathleen for stepping in last month when I was sick there. And you guys did an admirable job. And I have no worries now. If I get sick again, I'm just going to call them. It's all good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And if I'm sick, Kathleen can do his job, and then David can do my job.
There we go.
Leave it all to Kathy.
All the bases are covered. So take care, everyone. Keep on writing, and we look forward to seeing you all next month, the end of the month, last Wednesday of the month, with Judy Long joining us from Fanny Bay. And
April 30th.
Going to be April 30th is the date. So going to be another good one. Okay.
This is the 5th
Take
month,
care.
I hope.
Good night.
Right. Goodbye. Thank you. Thank you. Oh.
You calling me?
No.
You're not? You need help?
No.
Okay. Are you trying to close it?
Trying to mute myself because I unmuted to speak, but I don't know what the mute thing's called. Oh, there's
here.
Oh.
There.
It was amazing. Yeah, amazing. I think we need to have Peg start out every night. You're the charm. You set the bar and everybody rolls. That was awesome.